Very nice, Lena. Thank you, John. Good afternoon, everyone. You're back with Lena and John for a really rockin' reading with special guests. Hiram, Father Hiram. Hello. Hi, Hiram. God and Mother bless you all of you, every one of us. And God and Mother bless you as well. And special guest, Elvis Presley. Hello. I haven't been here in a long time. Hello. Hello, everyone. It's me. You almost said the king. Yeah, but I meant it. I was going to say it in a joking way, but I'm not the king. Okay. I was just feeling like joking around a little bit, but happy birthday, Lena. Yes. And happy anniversary, Elvis. We share a anniversary. I was born on the same date in history that you crossed over. You crossed over in 1977 on my 15th birthday. That's correct. As I recall, you had a big birthday bash blowout and you were tripping on LSD. That's right, I was. And you were making contact with me, whether or not you realize that. Well, I believe you. I believe you. I hadn't really thought of it that way, honestly. But yeah, I guess you were flying around out there, really flying around in the cosmos, right around the time that I was dropping acid for my 15th birthday. Hiram, what do you have to say about that? I say let the cards tell the story today. All right, we're going to do a really rockin' reading. John? Let's go. Okay. Thank you, Mother and Father, for making this reading possible. There we go. The energy is overwhelming in the area right now where we are working on our table. And there is definitely some wind whipping up outside. Just really started in earnest when we got Elvis in here and Hiram. And this is the Knight of Cups. Who wants it? I'll take it. John. All right, John. I wanted to talk to Elvis a little bit about... Last time we had Elvis in, we were talking about twin flames. And we brought up the fact that Elvis's unborn, his twin brother was his twin flame. That's who his twin brother was. And that's why God took him and let there just be one of them living on the earth at that time. Right. Because that's just the way it is. If you want to go back and look at the old video, you can see it. But Elvis was missing that energy physically all his life. Right, Elvis. Yes, that's right. But I felt it around me all the time, and it made me feel, very supernatural, I could say I let it get to my head. I had this protector around me at all times, Jesse, and I was aware of him all the time, and this great love that I felt for this brother energy, brother, sister, whatever you want to call it. It did feel more. It did go back and forth. At times, I could feel a very feminine energy coming over me, and turns out it was Jesse. In fact, as a matter of fact, had Jesse survived, there would be no doubt that he would have leaned in a homosexual orientation. That's just the way he was. My yin, and he was the yin to my yang. He was the yin to my yang. Right, so this is just a little recap that Elvis's unborn twin was his twin flame, and so that's very interesting. And you're saying that energy of the combined energy of you and Jesse was made you feel supernatural. I started really to buy into the hype, and I started to really buy into the fact that I was king. I really felt like I was sitting at the right hand of God Himself, and that I was really like a chosen son. I started to reason to myself, why else would I be this famous? Why else would I have all of this handed to me in such a way? My talent, my looks, I was very much aware of every gift that God had given me, and I kept that in my mind as a beacon and a symbol of the fact that I was very, very much chosen. And then these guys came along, right? I could take that. Yes, Elvis, take the next card. Johnny Ace. Ace of Cups. There's another one. There's two cups. Here I was, the Knight of Cups, thinking I was all that. But then came along the Ace. Oh, my. And yeah, I knew that they were a talented foursome, but I knew that he was the force behind him. And the first thing I started doing was my research on that John boy. Because I was very threatened by his energy, by his charm, by his intelligence. Definitely by his intelligence. His intelligence was the thing. I had a thing about that. I really had a thing about feeling like I should be smarter. I had all this talent and I had all these things going for me, but a lot of times I would think, gee, I'm such a rube in so many ways. I gotta be, if I'm as important as I think I am, I gotta be smarter, you know. And here comes this guy, right? And he just blew the doors off of anything that was going on at that time. All you had to do was look at the footage of him out there talking to interviewers, and the expression on his face and the way things would just come flying out of his mouth. And I was terrified of him. I thought, he's either better than me or he's the devil. I don't know. And I thought myself a real God-fearing, God-loving man. So I started telling myself, I gotta get close to this guy and see what he exactly is all about. This is an interesting story to hear from this point of view. Let's take another card and see where the turn goes here. All right. You pick two at one time. That's not a mistake. All right. The Five of Wands. John? Yeah, the Five of Wands. It's the four of us and him in a room together. Oh my God, look at this. These five guys fighting with sticks. Well, the first thing he's doing is playing a bass and showing Paulie that he can learn that too. Just as you know, he can pick up an instrument. He's no slouch, right? But John, yeah, what was your opinion of Elvis? Well, it was all quickly diffused, which is I think the norm. They tell you don't meet your heroes, right? So, he was my hero in many ways. He was the reason that I did anything to the extent that I played rock and roll and thought I could make it. And I was unimpressed with him. I thought, geez, he's not very smart, is he? He doesn't really have too much to say for himself. I was looking forward to perhaps having some conversation with him and engaging him in that way, and I couldn't think of a damn thing to say to him besides, I like your early records, which immediately I think put my teeth on edge, right? Because you were losing your edge at the point that I was losing my popularity and my edge. I mean, not, in the grand scheme, I never lost my popularity, but I'm not saying that out of ego. I know. But I just these guys were they were trumping me. They were trumping me big time. Let's take a look at the card here. And I didn't have the juice. Here we go. This is Elvis, folks, telling the story, how he felt when the Beatles came onto the scene. That's the Ten of Swords, and that's a guy laying down and just about ready to die. I thought, I don't got the juice to carry me through the. There's four of them. They're a four-headed monster, but not. And then I love, Lena, that you love using that phrase, because that's a very true. That is how we saw them. That is how the Rolling Stones called them that. They coined that phrase, I believe. But Mick Jagger. But they were. But he was Johnny Boy was at the head of the operation, and I said, I don't have the juice. I knew I didn't have the juice. And that kind of set me back in kind of a spin at that point. I didn't. It was easier to get fucked up on pills and stuff than to try to top those guys. So what did you do? Go ahead. What'd you do? Okay. We don't need a card, but we can take it anyway. The moon, plans and schemes. He went to Nixon. And he told him that badmouth the boys. As if they needed any kind of help, like in that direction. They got to get that kind of bad-mouthing from the king himself, right? And I was all doped up myself. But I was telling him that they're gonna, we got to win the war on drugs, and they're the public enemies, number 1, 2, 3, and 4. So what do you think about that, Hiram? Hiram is here because he was my best friend on earth, and he is the one who really brought me back to God, brought me back to the life of prayer and spirituality that was really missing from my life at the time that Hiram and me became best friends in 1990-something, 1992 or 3. Now, what do you think about that? Well, that was a big boo-boo, and that was a big... that was instant karma. Okay, that's an example. Hello, everyone. It's me, Hiram. Blanche. That was instant karma. What happened? What happened to Elvis's life at that point, and what happened to his career. As soon as he joined forces with destructive political constituents, especially against John and the boys, who were... They were very holy men, And Elvis, he was a holy man too. As when someone is a great entertainer down here, okay, let's talk about that for a minute. When someone is a great entertainer down here, they possess the ability to sway the public in such a way that they have the profound gift of bringing so much joy and light and happiness and ebullience to the masses. That is a wonderful, wonderful gift for which they are profoundly rewarded in the afterlife if they cultivate that gift correctly and use it in an unselfish, giving, and positive way. They're supposed to join together, these entertainer types down here. They're supposed to not be in competition with each other. Think we are the world, or, that's what it's really, the idyllic chorus of like-minded souls bettering the world, not going to the president and tattling on the other guy for being a dope addict when you're a big-ass dope addict, right? But having been a user, yes, I was a user for the first half of my life down here. Once drugs and substances are in the mix, all bets are off. And that's the lesson. There is no halfway mark. Now, when I crossed over to the other side and Lena started talking to me through her spiritual channel, I'll let her say it. What did I say to you? One of the first things that I said to you. Well, I said, Hiram, is that really you? And he said, yes. Who do you think put the who do you think put the H in Jesus H Christ? And I knew it was him because that's his sense of humor, and he was so funny, and I could hear him laughing and everything. And he was like, we can talk. I'm not gone. One of the first things Hiram said to me at that time when he crossed over in 2009, Memorial Day weekend, was, you're a user, Blanche. And we never had this conversation because I never wanted to really hurt you. But because at the time that Hiram crossed over, he had long been sober and a recovery counselor and everything, and an HIV counselor, and he was all kinds of things down here. And the first thing he said is, "You're a user, and whether or not you want to believe that you have a problem, you do." And I know you're not ready to stop drinking now, but you're going to have to eventually. So, just so you know, if you want things to start really turning around, you have to stop using. And a little red wine with you is never a little red wine, and you are a user. And it was a sobering thing to hear this friend of mine come through from the other side. He had just died of sudden heart failure, and tell me this, one of the first things, but I did know that he was right, and I also knew that he was right. I wasn't ready to stop until it became impossible to go on. I was not ready to stop. I didn't stop until several years later. But that is the story. That is the truth. You just do so much damage when you're using and when you're not sober. You have to be sober in this life in order to make any kind of spiritual progress. You can't have it both ways. That was a crazy thing that Elvis did, telling on them. He knew that. Trying to get John in trouble because he was jealous of him. I mean, but you're not thinking. You never are when you're fucking using. So this is a very good, that softy guy. Oh, gee. Blanche, yeah, that includes, sugar and overeating. That's using too. You have to get your body primed. You have to learn these things, or else your body, you're going to have to come back and do it again. Honestly, Elvis is not coming back, right? And he was a mess when he crossed over. He was an absolute horrific physical and psychological wreck. But when he crossed over to the other side, he did something which is called like it's sort of a cocoon they put you in to, until you can heal up enough. Your spirit is so fucked up from this world down here. And then, you heal up enough and see when you're ready to go back down. But when as soon as Elvis started healing up, he said, "I do not want to go back." And he doesn't have to. He could still make the decision to go back, but he's here with his twin flame now, who is a woman. And yeah, it's the energy of his twin Jesse. That's who his twin flame is. But he doesn't have to come back down because of his love for God. He really did love God in a genuine way. His love for God was always genuine and always powerful and always all-pervasive in everything that he did. He also had a tremendous love for humanity and other people and every race, creed, and religion. He loved everyone. He was really very close to being perfect, aside from the way he punished his own body physically and psychologically. So, in Elvis's case, he brought so much great karma and healing into the world through his very presence and his music and his messages, especially toward the end when he had so many beautiful spiritual messages to share in his music. He healed over here. He doesn't have to go back down and heal and go through anything like that again. He's happy here. But if he wanted to go back down with his twin flame, he can do that if he wants to. Well, how do you feel about that, Elvis? I'm going to pick a card and Five of Swords. I won that battle. I won that battle. And like Father Hiram here says, We don't know. We don't know out here. We don't even know how long the physical earth is still going to be in the shape that it's in right now. It could get blown to smithereens. Maybe some people want to come back down here when it's blown to smithereens. Maybe we don't know. We don't know. The thing is, once we're out here, we look at the challenges and we see how we're going to feel about it from moment to moment, millisecond to millisecond. I like it out here where I am now in the outer realms. I love where I am, and I think John, I absolutely feel the same way. I absolutely feel the same way and would not choose to reincarnate. And that's why, I feel very fulfilled with the work that I do with Lena. And I do lots of other work too. I help my kids. I help people from past incarnations. I help Yoko. I help everyone in many ways down here through my old music and also through the work that I do with Lena. But I don't have any desire to reincarnate, and there's no need for me to do it. Now, once Lena crosses over, that could be something that we would talk about together. Hey, you want to go back down? Right. But why think that far ahead? She's still down here, and I'm here with her. And Christopher's here with her too. And they're together, man. They're a team, and they're making their lives work, and they take care of business down here, helping animals, growing kitten plants. Yeah, right, the kitten plants. We'll talk about kitten plants next time around. Yeah, well, let's post this now, because Elvis wants to get out the piano with us and sing a couple of songs. What do you say? That sounds great. Chris, what do you think of this reading?
Very good. I like it.
We like it too. Last card. The King of Pentacles, that is you, Hiram. You are the king today for bringing us all together and suggesting this wonderful, enlightening visit with our good friend, Elvis. Again, happy anniversary, Elvis, for crossing over on this day in history many, many moons ago. And as we go to a close, I don't know, what else is there to say? How about I love you? I love you. I love you! And that goes for everybody. Everyone.